Have you ever wondered how numbering conventions work in project management? It's a fascinating world where numbers do more than just count. They tell a story, they guide, and they help us understand the complex web of tasks that make up a project. Numbering conventions are crucial in project management, not just for the sake of organization, but also for clear communication, effective planning, and accurate tracking. They serve as a compass, guiding us through the labyrinth of tasks, milestones, and deadlines. Now, there isn't just one way to number tasks in a project. There are different types of numbering conventions, each with its own unique advantages. Some might use directional numbering, increasing in magnitude as we move from the start to the end of the project. Others might leave gaps in the numbering to accommodate future additions or expansions. And then there are those that use even and odd numbers to differentiate between base contract work and extra work. There are different types of numbering conventions, each with its own purpose and advantages. First, let's dive into the concept of directional numbering. This term may sound a bit intimidating, but it's actually quite straightforward. In essence, directional numbering is a system where the numbering of activities increases in magnitude from the start to the end of the project. Picture a journey. You start at point A, and your destination is point Z. Now imagine each step along the way is assigned a number, with the numbers increasing as you get closer to your destination. That's how directional numbering works in project management. This system is not just for the sake of organization. It plays a major role in making the network report easier to read and understand. Think about it. If you glance at a schedule and see an activity numbered in the hundreds, you can easily infer that it's a later stage of the project compared to an activity numbered in the tens. The magnitude of the activity number gives you an immediate idea of where it's located in the schedule relative to other activities. Let's illustrate this with an example. Imagine you're building a house. The first activity might be prepare construction site, and we'll assign it the number 10. Later down the line, you have install plumbing, which will number 80. Just by looking at these numbers, you can tell that preparing the construction site comes much earlier in the project than installing the plumbing. Directional numbering is not merely a system of organization, but a tool of communication. It allows anyone involved in the project, from the project manager to the workers on the ground, to quickly and easily understand the structure of the project and the progression of tasks. The beauty of this system is in its simplicity. It's as easy as counting from 1 to 100, but it provides a clear and concise way to understand the sequence and progress of a project, no matter how complex it might be. So that's how directional numbering aids in understanding the project structure and progress. Now, consider the concept of numbering gaps. Imagine you're building a tower of blocks. You've carefully planned it out, each block representing a different task that needs to be completed. But what happens when you realize you've missed a few tasks? You can't just squeeze them in without disrupting your carefully planned tower. That's where numbering gaps come in handy. Numbering gaps are like reserved parking spaces in your project plan. They're spots left intentionally empty, allowing room for additional activities that might crop up as the planning process progresses. It's like having a contingency plan for your plan. Think of it this way. Say you're planning a party. You've got the venue booked, the menu decided, the guest list drawn up, but then a friend suggests you should have a theme, or maybe a DJ. With numbering gaps, you can easily include these new tasks into your plan without having to renumber and rearrange everything. In project management, things can change rapidly. New tasks can emerge. Existing ones might need to be broken down into smaller ones, or perhaps you've just realized you missed something in your initial planning. Numbering gaps allow you to adapt your plan without disrupting the structure you've already established. When you're working with a team, numbering gaps can be a lifesaver. They provide a way to add new tasks or expand summary activities into greater detail, while still maintaining the integrity of the original activity numbering structure. This means everyone can stay on the same page without getting confused or lost in a sea of renumbered tasks. So in essence, numbering gaps are all about flexibility and adaptability. They're a way to future-proof your project plan, ensuring it can evolve and change as necessary without causing chaos or confusion. They're a simple concept, but one that can have a big impact on the success of your project planning. With numbering gaps, it becomes easier to modify and update the project plan without disrupting the existing structure. Next up, let's explore the even-odd numbering convention. This unique method of organizing activities within a project can tell us a lot about the nature of the work involved. At its core, even-odd numbering is a simple yet effective way of categorizing tasks. The concept is pretty straightforward. Base contract work is assigned even numbers, while extra work that pops up after the project has started is given odd numbers. This provides an instant way to differentiate between the two types of activities. Imagine you're overseeing a construction project. The initial contract, the base contract, includes all the tasks that were agreed upon at the start. This could include laying the foundation, installing the plumbing, putting up the walls, and so forth. Each of these activities would be assigned an even number. However, as anyone who's ever managed a project knows, it's rare for everything to go exactly to plan. Perhaps the client decides they want an additional room, or maybe an unexpected issue arises that needs to be addressed. These tasks weren't part of the original agreement, so they're considered extra work. In the even-odd numbering system, these tasks would be given odd numbers. This method of categorization offers a range of benefits. For one, it allows anyone using the schedule to quickly and easily identify the origin of a particular activity. It also maintains the integrity of the original schedule, ensuring that the base contract work remains distinct from any additional tasks. Moreover, it provides a clear record of changes to the project, which can be particularly useful when it comes to billing or auditing. By keeping track of the extra work separately, it's easier to calculate additional costs and to provide a transparent account of how the project evolved over time. In a nutshell, the even-odd numbering convention is a clever tool that can help to keep your project organized, transparent, and on track. Through this simple strategy, you can ensure that every task, whether it's part of the original plan or an unexpected addition, is clearly defined and easy to identify. Thus, even-odd numbering provides a clear distinction between base contract and additional work. Now that we have examined the different types of numbering conventions, let's summarize. In the world of project management, numbering conventions are more than mere digits. They are an integral part of the planning and execution process that can significantly improve the readability and comprehensibility of your project schedule. Let's kick off our summary with directional numbering. This method is all about increasing the magnitude of numbers from the start to the end of your project. Not only does this make your project report easier to read, but it also provides a quick indication about the location of a particular activity or group. If you come across a high number, you know you're looking at a task that falls towards the end of your project timeline. In essence, directional numbering creates a roadmap within your schedule, guiding you through the course of your project. Next on our list is the concept of numbering gaps. Think of these gaps as breathing room for your project. When you're in the initial stages of planning, you might not have all the details about every activity. As your project evolves, new tasks will inevitably pop up. By leaving gaps between your numbered activities, you are essentially future-proofing your project. You have the flexibility to add in new activities, expand on summary activities, and increase the level of detail in your schedule, all while maintaining the integrity of your numbering structure. Finally, let's touch on the even and odd numbering method. This convention is a simple yet effective way to distinguish between base contract work and extra work. Assigning even numbers to base contract activities and odd numbers to extra work immediately differentiates the two. It's like having a built-in flagging system in your project schedule. Anyone going through your project can instantly identify if an activity was part of the original plan or if it was added later as a change order. To sum it all up, these numbering conventions, directional numbering, numbering gaps, and even an odd numbering, each serve a unique purpose in project management. They improve readability, allow for flexibility and adaptability, and provide immediate clarity on the nature of activities. But perhaps the most important thing to remember about these conventions is that they're not just about organization. They're about communication. Each number tells a story about your project, where it's been, where it's going, and how it's changing. Understanding and using these numbering conventions can greatly enhance your project management capabilities. Remember, every number has a story to tell in your project.